Rumor has it, oil change guy is doing a transmission. Things are changing around here at a rapid pace. It's hard to keep up. Welcome back to A Day in the Shop. Glad you clicked that button. I'm Jimmy, we're making it work. Getting the shop open up. Fixing our own hot rod because there won't be anything to do. That's not really true. We got dump trucks go by here on a regular basis, lots of construction vehicles, so you hear some noise in the background sometimes. I worked on a project truck a little bit yesterday. This has to all get sanded back off because I painted it and it started raining 5 minutes later. Anyway, what are here for that? I try to release the project truck videos on Sundays when I have them. I try to do any tool reviews and videos like that on Saturdays because I'm busy Monday to Friday working in the shop, filming videos for you guys. We had not been that busy this week. Been a little bit of a, you know, unusual week, but that's how it goes sometimes. I know the Cutlass is coming back, but I'm not sure if it's today or Monday. We're gonna replace that switch. It went bad again, so we lost 4-speed. I got approval on the transmission in the Caravan. What else? I think that's about it. I'm all caught up. I've done everything I need to do except the project truck. Hopefully some more cars come in. There's none in the parking lot right now. It might not even be worth watching. But I know one thing, if something comes in for us to do, we're gonna learn things, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have motorcycles going by, racing. See how fast he is. Hayabusa! We always have some fun on this channel. That's what we're all about. And I'm serious about the learning things, which I try to make sure there's some useful information in every video. Fast and Furious, bruh. I try to make sure there's some useful information in every video. I try to make sure we have a little fun, so I'll be a little silly here and there, but only like I would off camera. So it's the Realist channel on YouTube. Let's finish getting the shop open up. Stop all the flapping. Stay tuned. Uh-oh, look what just got towed in. I wonder who's gonna get that one. Steering became loose and then hard. And we're gonna find out why. 1998 Jaguar Vandenplas. So, someone sits very upright in their seat. Pretty clean car inside and out, tell you the truth. It's like an 8. What do you guys think? Oh, it has a soft closed door. I'm like, shit, the door didn't close. It closed on its own. High-tech stuff, I wouldn't understand. It's over my head. She says the steering got really soft and then really hard. She doesn't know what's wrong. Doesn't. Well, first I gotta. Whew, seat's the opposite of what I'm used to in this town. But all right, I'm gonna take her for a quick drive and bring you guys back in once I see what she's talking about. The steering's working great right now. Maybe something intermittent. Maybe a little old lady problem. I'm not sure. I know she's got the correct rug on the back seat you're supposed to have. Mandatory for these cars. Alright, stop horsing around. I will come back in a second. Uh-oh. We're not going far. There's some front end stuff going on here that we're going to have to deal with. Didn't make it out of the parking lot. I feel wheel bearings falling apart or something. So we're gonna nurse it in. Hopefully nothing falls off on the way in the bay. Oop. I hear screeching and grinding. So yeah, and the brake pedal's actually low, but the steering's great. It's only funny because it's unusual. I don't mean to laugh at somebody else's problems. Sometimes that gets misinterpreted. You know, trust me, a doctor, when you're unconscious in the surgery room and they see how bad you broke your arm in 6 places, the doctor's gonna go, ooh, wow, that's pretty bad. Same kind of thing. The red truck made all that noise. The one behind him, quiet, because he didn't put exhaust on his. We're going to see which wheel's falling off, and we'll investigate this car thoroughly. Got to do a DVI too. Although this car is super clean. It either doesn't get driven. Did I tell you the mileage? Whoa, 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 easy. Oh, the odometer doesn't work. Hood open. Alright. NA. Alright. Carry on. This is all we have to do today. So far. And someone has just done strut mounts and a whole bunch of tires and a whole bunch of stuff on this thing, but they missed something. I don't know what. Let me set you down where you won't wiggle with me. Show you what we got going on. That's not supposed to do that. I made a short about it. You might see it a couple times. That was all the noises I heard. The brake pedal felt like a much more of a problem than the steering to me. But anyway, I'm guessing the wheel tried to stop turning on her, and that's what made the steering dart or something. Let's get it off of there. Well, it's the first problem with these cool old European cars. The hubcap, that's been glued on there and stuff. So we'll see how that goes when we got to put it back together. Let's get those big giant nuts off of there. It's got some big ones. 22 millimeters. But notice it isn't a stud nut. Kind of weird. Or a wheel bolt. I saw you typing in the comments, which I appreciate. Even the ones that tell me I'm dumb and my video is way too long. That's what someone said last week. The video starts at 12 minutes in, or something like that. I said, well, no, technically it starts at 1 second. You look at it however you like. Oh. Like, does your mom know you're on the internet? This thing is taking some damage. Looks like this rotor is digging into the caliper. You see this here? Let me put on the light for you. See that? The rotor is digging into the caliper pad bracket. It doesn't look horrendous, like it might be salvageable, but it's going to be one of those things that's best to recommend because there's a safety concern. You're talking about brakes, so we have to recommend it. I would not replace it if it was my car, but for a little old lady, I feel better getting all fresh stuff on there and send this back as a core, and they'll weld and remachine it and all that stuff. The pads look kind of okay, but we won't know the shape of the inside of the rotor till we take it all apart, and I'm not taking anything apart without permission to do repairs. So that's about as extensive as the damage is. Not sure if this is a bolt-in hub. Nope, it's press. And that means we're taking all kinds of cool stuff apart. Sweet. This is supposed to be up here. Alright, now we know what's going on. Wheel bearing, I'm going to recommend the bracket. And if the rotor's got damage, then we're going to do pads and rotors probably too. So we'll see what happens with this car. It's in really good shape as far as the vehicle inspection goes. So, alright, I do feel a tiny bit of play in the rear wheel bearings too. I'm not sure if it'll show up. Let me see. You tell me if you can see it on camera. Not as bad as the right front, but both rear wheels do that. So, we definitely have to have that on the list as a recommendation and leave it up to the customer. You want to do the destroyed one and do these next month, but I wouldn't wait long because we'll be in the same scenario. And then you got towing. All right, I pulled the Jaguar and back. They're thinking about whether they want to fix it or junk it, I guess, or something. This one, customer says intermittently it doesn't start and the AC blows warm. They're waiting. Can you fix it real quick? I just bought it. Well, that's not good. Paper tag from South Carolina. It's kind of unusual. 142,924 miles on this 2012 Jeep Liberty. This is from a time when the Jeep Liberty was a lot bigger. The newer ones are little cars. Trucks. It started up for me. He says it doesn't start. Sometimes he has to push his foot on the gas. And I didn't see a check engine light. That's how I was imagining it. Let's start it up and see. Oh. I hear it clicking and not cranking. Hear that? It's got a bad starter. That's easy. I can do that one easy. Had a good hard click, and you can actually see the belt turn. So starter's bad. That's easy. No testing required. No scopes. No laboratory work. No blood tests. Let's see why the AC don't work. And parts are rolling for the Jeep. I guess they're fixing that one, but I think Bill went home. Maybe Joe's doing it. He's got his cart over there. Putting a transmission in that Veloster and doing the differentials work and stuff for Bill. That's cool. Transmission's not here for that Mitsubishi that Jace is working on. We got some things going on, but it's slow. I've been working on the project truck for about 2 hours today, and searching online for paint and stuff and trying to figure out what I want to do with that. Keeping myself busy, basically. And then this gem rolled in. So boom, we're gonna make it work. It's got refrigerant. It is plenty full, if not over full. Let's fire it up and see what's going on. Maybe it's not on. It doesn't work if you don't turn it on. I know that much. Ah, man. Let's turn this on, turn that on, that on. Let's push this one. It was turned off 3 different ways, but with my keen intellect and low IQ, I figured it out. Looks like it's overcharged a little bit. Let's see if that low side keeps coming down. Pressure's a little high. And it's only been running a minute. And it's coming down a little. It's not terribly warm, but it's certainly not icy. Let's put the window up. Tire lights on. It works okay. If we get the temp gun, I'm gonna say low 50s, something like that. Let's see. Putting all the windows up while the Kaiweets boots up. The back windows are open too a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, you know, hey, once in a while, you know, happens. 54 degrees, 51 degrees, 49 degrees, 48, 47. I just closed the windows, so it's cooling down. It kind of works. I wonder if it intermittently doesn't work. I don't think that part's on there. States AC is blowing hot air. 1 hour, that's cool. Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's an hour. I can't explain it. 49, 48, 47, 46. I'm gonna say that's not hot air. I'm gonna say it might not be as cold as a brand new Honda or Toyota, but I'm gonna say it's worked pretty good. I wonder if sometimes it blows hot air, or they don't know to push the button because they just bought it. You don't push the buttons, the AC button, it's not gonna be cold. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna do a digital vehicle inspection. I'll put this window down so it doesn't, the doors were locked, so we're gonna make sure we don't let that happen. I'm gonna let it run a few minutes, see if it stops working while I do a vehicle inspection. Turn this off so we don't have to recharge it too much. And take a look around. I just bought it, so it's probably meant. Got a brand new battery with good, clean, tight connections. What's a little odd is it's straight water in the washer bottle. We could fix that pretty easy. What's also odd is the AC, ice cold. I mean, it's in like the 30s now that I've let it run a little while. I think she doesn't know how to work the buttons. She just bought it or something. So, all right. It's got torn wipers and some other sketchy things, but let's see if they want to do the starter at least. All right, this Jeep, going down the road, it starts to blow warmer the longer you drive it. I'm guessing the side pressure is coming down and down and down. So there's 3 possibilities. Expansion valve is not keeping the temperature warm enough. It makes it too cold by being too restricted. The number one thing I think it is going to be a temperature sensor in the evaporator that's supposed to cycle the compressor off when it gets too cold. The third possibility is dirt and contamination in the fins of the evaporator core, so not enough air is flowing through it. I don't suspect that's the least likely one. I don't suspect that's it, because normally if it's freezing, the airflow out of the dash would reduce. It felt like you turned the fan down, and you'd hear the blower still whoop, but nothing, very little coming out. So what I want to do is I want to look at my evaporator temperature sensor. I want to see if it's upset or not, and I want to see if it is capable of turning the compressor off at any point. It's reading accurate right now. Evaporative temperature 42.8. Well, now it's about 13 degrees off, because that 30 psi directly relates to temperature in one of these cars. So 30 psi, it should be about 30, maybe 35 degrees. It's reading a little warmer than it actually is. And this thing is ice cold right now. Oh, we asked her about the starter too. She said, it can't be the starter. I just had it replaced about a month ago in South Carolina. So we'll have to see what's going to happen with that. But I might need to get down there and be 100% sure they tighten the connections and all. But to me, it does it way too little to be a connection issue. But that's just based on my experience. You can't always go off hunches. You got to diag. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing it up off idle to duplicate what I felt on the road. The problem is you can't run with an AC machine beside the car. It's down to 39. It cycled the compressor off, so that worked. That's good. I just saw it cycle the compressor off. I did not think it was doing that, so that's good. That tells me it's more likely expansion valve. That's why I said expansion valve, temp sensor, or evaporator clogged. So let me let them know. I'm leaning towards expansion valve. I really think that's what it is, because that worked. I watched the compressor cycle off. Sensor's working. I still have airflow. There's only one thing left. What's even more interesting is I see this laying up here, but I didn't take it off. Someone's already been working on it, obviously, I'm gonna say. It's supposed to go on there like that. It's coming apart a little bit. That is kind of strange. They get a little crumbly. So we're gonna have a discussion about this whole ordeal, see what's going on with all that stuff. And I'm gonna lift it up real quick, make sure my starter cables are tight. Yep, everything is tight, but I feel better for looking. I'm not trying to say we got a lot of broken Chryslers, but 2019 salvage title, Chrysler Pacifica. Customer put new batteries, auxiliary batteries, all kinds of batteries in it. I even put my jump box on it because the battery is only at 11 volts. They insist that the starter clicks. Something does click under the hood. I can't tell what. It's got 74,000 miles. Poor thing's done for it. It shows drive on my scan tool. Catch you guys up. I've been working on that in the parking lot. Can you tell? It won't come out of park no matter what you do. It won't crank. It says change oil when you push the crank. And it says ignition on. It never says anything about a crank request. You pull the, under here is the safety release. You can put it in neutral, pulling that red cord out. You got to step on the brake, pull it. It puts it in neutral, and it shows neutral on my scan tool. But it stays in park and blinks the P on the dash. Very strange that it shows park there and drive there. So someone's sad about something. And as soon as he said it was a salvage title vehicle, not to panic, it's been correctly repaired. So love rating of 4. Let's go ahead and see if we can figure out what's going on. I'm going to see it now. I don't have the subscription for Chrysler on here either, so I might be limited in my functionality, but I'm going to see if I can force it to crank by finding the starter actuation test. We got a code PO850 and a P1B13. This is because I took it out of park, I believe. This is not. So this is something to do with the park neutral switch. Let's see here. Park neutral switch input circuit problem. The PCM is not receiving the correct park neutral switch position. Park neutral switch, wiring, blah blah blah, PCM issues possible. Yeah, that's what we thought. So I'm gonna pull up a wiring diagram, try to figure out what's what, where the information comes from and goes to, where the park neutral switch is even at. Sometimes it's up here, sometimes it's on the transmission. Not really sure. So I got to learn a little bit about this thing, and then we'll see where to go next. But the customer and Joe up front were insisting the starter's clicking, but it never acknowledges that it's in park to let it crank. So And I thought it was my scanner, but when I pulled that cord out, I'll show you. How about I show you instead of just telling you about it? Let's go like this. D. It says D right now on my scan tool. We pop this out of here. Step on the brake. Neutral. And the park flashes. But it still won't let it crank. It admits it's in neutral. Won't let the engine crank. It's mad. So if you want to put this away, you step on the brake and release it. Then it goes back to the problem we normally have: park, drive. We got a little investigatory surgery, and we'll come back and take a look at some stuff. The lady the Jeep wants to do the starter, they said, but I'm not sure why every week Friday is my worst day. It should be usually the other way around, no? Kind of strange, but it is what it is. We're doing what we got to do. We're rowing our boats. We're getting some arm pump. At least we're not doing push-ups while we work on cars today. That's a good thing. Real quick, I want to look. That was in the TCM data. I'm going to look in the PCM data and see if it sees the same thing the TCM sees. So I'm picking some data PIDs out here. We're going to ignition off, run start, ignition start, filtered state, ignition start switch. Now if I push this start button right here with my foot on the brake, okay, it is acknowledging that it's trying to crank the engine, but the TCM thinks it's in drive. All right, I just wanted to look at that real quick. The two modules don't agree. Maybe it does have a bad starter, and because it doesn't turn the engine, the TCM has some weird data PID. You can't really trust those data PIDs 100%, which is why I'm a little bit concerned about where we're headed. Let's do the basic starter test, then start going crazy with electrical stuff. What do you think? All right. According to this, that light probably doesn't help. K1 should be right there. But I've got my cool little starter relay jumper in. I'm going to turn the ignition on. I'm going to see if it'll crank. Or if we hear a nice click. Don't hear anything. That's interesting as well. Let's hook up the test light. I don't have power on either of those. Well, that tells me this 30 amp fuse right here. Whoa, 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 easy guys. F17. Let's get some pliers, pull that out, see if we got another one. We'll check for power in there while it's out. If I go across the two fuse legs, doesn't blow a fuse or anything crazy, and it does have power to it. Of course, the design of these fuses, you can't really test them. Although I can see through that window, it looks okay. But I'm going to put this fuse over there just for fun. Now I'm assuming that because of the fact that there's no power here, something powers up that circuit of the relay when you push the button. So it doesn't let you have power key on, engine off like you do in old cars. I got power there, so that means I should get a ground here when I push the button. I'm going to find out where this power comes from to let that relay energize. There's quite a bit of paint work on that car. Anyway, look at this. She wants to do the starter. We're not going to mess the AC. Let's put the starter real quick. We don't have a lot of time left in the day. I know there hasn't been much going on in this video, but we're doing what we can. Let's get this thing loose on the negative. Lift her back up. Starter's pretty easy in this. I probably shouldn't have said that. Well, I can say it. I can brag early because this one was just replaced 3 weeks ago somewhere else. So there shouldn't be any frozen, missing, or stripped bolts because nobody wants to do that, right? What a nice guy. Includes a car wash with every transmission installation. That's funny. I like the wheel. Where's the bolts at here? Got two 15s in the back. That is a fairly easy starter. Ooh, that's tight. Now, let's go right back in. I didn't want to hear another word about it. Other directions already set. Well, I might have faked that one a little bit.
I might have actually had a chance to finish it today. Maybe they didn't show up at like almost fucking 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because they told Jose that it would be here between 1 and 2, right?
That's their guesstimate.
Well, no. The driver just told me that until recently, he was driving at that time. They just started making them start taking lunches between 1 and 2.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's nice. He was like, yeah, so I ate light so I could keep it moving. He was, but they're making us take lunch between that time.
They don't even want you taking lunch nowadays. Get this battery hooked back up, and we will see how we did. The only problem is you could start it quite a few times without it doing it. They do have tons of problem with these starters. Even that we got that starter from the CarQuest folks, and they said, yeah, we have a lot of problems with these. They said no matter who you get it from, you could have problems. Third time's a charm. Oh boy. Alright, I'm calling this one fixed. I will shut it off and start it again after I get it off the lift and get the hood shut. Because she's been waiting in the office there very patiently for about 3.5 hours. So, we're done with this one for now. I got my caps back on. That's all good. What kind of nonsense is he bringing in? Oh, another Jeep. Cool. Another Jeep Liberty. Lining them up. Joe's doing a GM too over there, but that's just an oil change. Fuse 13, if you see right here, that's awful convenient because when power is energized on this wire I highlighted in red to the starter, it goes up here and it's joined. The relay output energizes fuse 13 on its way out to let the ignition crank sensor in the PCM know that it worked. So if fuse 13 gets power on cranking, then I can fairly well assume that there's power going down to the starter relay, starter solenoid I mean, right? Is that a fair assumption? So I want to check fuse 13 while someone pushes the crank button. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pay your bills next time. Have someone crank it for me while this is fuse 13 trapped in here. We'll see if that lights up. If it lights up, I'm feeling pretty cocky. Starter might be bad. We'll lift it up and make sure. I know I don't want anyone in there in the comments. So let's see if I can get a helper and we'll come back. Make sure I got power. Thank you, sir.
Did it work? Want me to do it again?
Yeah, well, it's lit up. It's on the circuit. It goes out to the starter solenoid and fuse 13 powers up at the same time. It has a crank sensor, so the PCM knows it's trying to crank. So fuse 13 lights up, and I did hear it click down there.
Oh, so starter?
It's got a starter, or the engine's frozen. I'm gonna try to turn the engine. I think that's a Jeep Renegade out there, or a Patriot, or one of those other pieces of junk. Oh look, another one coming in. My goodness gracious, we are not a Chrysler dealership, people. What the heck? Well, at least he's doing a Mitsubishi transmission. That's different. I'm gonna check to see if the engine turns, and we'll go from there. I saw it try to turn the engine. Same thing with that other one, that other Chrysler product.
Uh-oh. Gravity check. It doesn't test gravity as quickly, but it does test it. You guys having fun like I am today? It's been exciting. Man, I was listening to Rain Man Ray on a video yesterday talking about how the Chevy dealership tried to force him to work Saturdays and they fired him over it because he wouldn't. That's freaking brutal. Oh crap. That's what I need to get to. I might have to go from in here like I feared. Yeah, they fired him. He was doing like 90 to 120 hours a week. That would be freaking awesome if I could do that. I did 94 hours last week, but that's only because the 4 days I worked on the boss's Ferrari, or 5 days or whatever I got paid for last week. But they actually fired him over it. But it happened for a reason. It got better for him. Engine turns, that's a good sign. Fast and Furious Volkswagen guy. I had full intentions of impressing you guys. I had the scope ready to go, everything coming out. I was gonna go full hog wild. But the starter on this is under the catalytic converter. The labor guide says 1.8, first step, remove catalytic converter. So it needs a starter. The engine turns, there's power going down to it. I'll be really surprised if I get the catalytic converter out of there. It's got a damaged wire because, like I said, you can hear click and see the belt kind of do that. So, just like the last Jeep, it needs a starter. This is a Chrysler though, not a Jeep Jimmy. Nice rear end. Not the first time I heard that today. A lot of yip yapping. I turned the camera on, so they said, you know what? Let's have a chat. Anyway, we'll be working on that Chrysler Pacifica next week. We'll be working on that 69 Cutlass coming back for another switch next week. We'll be working on a transmission in the Caravan next week. Anyway, thanks for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll torque the like button before you head out. Most of all, I hope you have a great weekend. I know it's going to be a week late, but I hope everyone that's a dad got a little bit of appreciation. Happy Father's Day to you guys. Even though it's going to be 5-6 days afterwards, I still got to say it. I got to tighten up on that stuff. Hope I see you in the next video more than anything, because you're awesome.